Welcome back. Lesson 6, Part 2. Learning target. I can analyze a model to learn about the parts of an opinion paragraph. Here's our model. Feed the birds. People have different opinions about whether to feed birds. Should people feed birds or let them find food on their own? I think people should feed birds because birds that have extra food from bird feeders might live through cold winters. This is why I think people should feed birds. So, what is this paragraph mostly about? When I think about this, I'm going to read the title. I always feel like the title gives me a little bit of a hint of what the paragraph is about. Feed the birds. Well, did they talk about feeding birds in there? Yeah. Awesome. It's about feeding birds and why they should feed birds. This is our opinion paragraph anchor chart. We have the introduction. It introduces the topic or what we'll be writing about. Opinion statement tells the reader your opinion on a topic or what you think of it. Reason tells the reader why you have the opinion. Is based on information from the text. Conclusion wraps up your paragraph and reminds the reader of your opinion. These are all 4 important parts to our opinion paragraph. Let's take a look at our model again. Feed the birds. We're going to be going through this model and figuring out which part is the introduction, the opinion statement, the reason, and the conclusion. Let's start with the introduction. Feed the birds. People have different opinions about whether to feed birds. Should people feed birds or let them find food on their own? I think people should feed birds because birds that have extra food from bird feeders might live through cold winters. This is why people should feed birds. So, right here, I have people have different opinions about whether to feed birds. Should people feed birds or let them find their own food? This is the introduction. It's introducing what the topic is about. It's about feeding the birds. On your paper, I want you to color in that section green, just like mine. Pause the video if you need to. Opinion statement. Our opinion statement tells the reader your opinion on a topic, or what you think. So the next sentence says, I think people should feed birds. It's telling me what they think. I think. So that is the opinion statement. On your paper, I want you to color the opinion statement yellow, just like mine. Reason. The reason tells the reader why you have the opinion, based on information from a text. Because birds that have extra food from bird feeders might live through cold winters. There's a really important word in there that lets me know the why part. And it's because. Because is telling me why. It's giving me the answer of why the author thinks people should feed birds. Because birds that have extra food from bird feeders might live through cold winters. And the conclusion. This is why I think people should feed birds. This wraps up our paragraph and reminds the reader what the opinion was. And their opinion was to feed the birds. Don't feed the birds. As I read this one, I want you to think what this paragraph is mostly about. People have different opinions about whether to feed birds. Should people feed birds or let them find their own food? I think people should not feed birds because animals like squirrels and mice come around if food from the bird feeder falls on the ground. This is why I do not think people should feed birds. So, I asked you to think about what this paragraph was mostly about. What do you think it's mostly about? Not feeding birds. What makes you think that? Right, because in here it says, I do not think people should feed birds, and it says, don't feed birds. Great. Don't feed the birds puzzle. Are you going to help me? Thanks. I have some sentences I'm going to show you, and you're going to tell me which part of the opinion paragraph it belongs. Because animals like squirrels and mice come around if food from the bird feeder falls on the ground. Do you think that's the introduction, opinion statement, reason, or conclusion? Well, the introduction is going to tell us what the topic's about, and the opinion statement is going to tell me what they think. The reason tells me why they think it, and the conclusion wraps it all up. There's a really important word in there. Do you know what it is? Yeah, that's it. Because. Because is the important word. It answers the why. So that means it is the reason. Our next puzzle piece. People have different opinions about whether to feed birds. Should people feed birds or let them find food on their own? Where do you think this goes? Introduction, telling me about the problem. Opinion statement, what the author thinks. Or the conclusion, wrapping up what the author thinks. I agree with you. I think it's the introduction. It's telling me about the problem, and it's giving me both sides of the opinion. Feed or not feed? This is why I do not think people should feed birds. So, two choices left, the opinion statement or the conclusion. The opinion statement tells me what the author thinks, and the conclusion tells me what the author thinks again, wraps it all up. Which do you think it is? Right, it's the conclusion. This is why I do not think people should feed birds. It makes me think that there was a reason that was already stated, and there was. Last piece. I think people should not feed birds. Right, it is the opinion statement. It's telling me what the author thinks. Great job. Now, you're going to go in Canvas, and you're going to see a quiz. I put the opinion paragraph anchor chart in there just to help you. You have 4 questions. You are going to listen for the highlighted part. And that highlighted part, you're going to have to tell me whether it's the introduction, opinion statement, reason, or conclusion. If you need to listen more than once, do that. And I'll see you back next time.